Within the context of this course about real estate, the rationale for this chapter about the French is to help you, my audience, get a more accurate idea of the collective psychology of the French people. Because I think it's really important for you before you decide that you might actually want to buy a house in France. So the idea here is to explain the French people by defining the French culture and way of life, starting with a bit of history. It's an interesting exercise, I said myself. It sounds simple. It shouldn't be too difficult to come up with something better than what's out there. Because you see, most of what's online in English about the French psychology or lifestyle or reality is usually, and according to me, produced by writers or YouTubers, French or not, who are either idealist about the French thing, nostalgic and out of touch with what's changing in the French society these days, or just spreading the same old cliches because, well, they don't know any better. But the more I got into it, the more what I thought would be effortless actually proved quite difficult if I wanted to be factual, non-biased, and meaningful for the audience. The reason is that I had to deconstruct, fact check, and then reconfirm all the bits of info about my fellow French citizens that I have long relied upon as, oh well, that's just the way it is. It turned out that the whole thing was more complicated and more time-consuming than I anticipated. So, I have built this chapter from the history of France up, because our culture is seen in our history, the history of the different people who made the French people, century after century, immigration wave after immigration wave. And of course, the French way of life is an embodiment of this culture. I've also tried to explain a few very French things like our approach to religions and our current political mood, because I think those bits are important for anybody who wants to get a good enough grasp of the French reality. Before we delve in, please remember that what follows is obviously my own interpretation of the facts I've uncovered and verified and articulated for you, even though I have tried to stay as unbiased as possible. So, let's dive in.